Welcome to another episode of Bowhunt or Die. Boy, Justin, season 5 is winding down quickly here. We've got a couple more episodes left, a few more bucks, but I'll tell you what, is there still hope for guys to go out hunting? What do you think? What's your feelings?
Don't ask me. I'm the wrong guy to ask. Obviously, there's still hope. I mean, as long as the season is still in, there's always hope. You know, these late season, we usually look for these really cold temperatures, which we're getting right now today as we film this interview. But, you know, it looks like a couple days, it's going to start warming up back into the 30s again, which, of course, makes it, you know, tough for late season. But there is some hope.
There's always hope, right? There's always, never give up hope. But, and Justin, you're right. I mean, you know, you talk about this winter compared to last winter. I mean, the snowfall we've had this year has been minimal. So, I mean, for those of you who did take the effort to put in good food plots and stuff, and you're wondering where the heck are the deer, they're just not using the food plots as much. They don't need to. I mean, there's enough food, there's enough acorns, there's enough browse. There's other places for them to be able to get that food.
Well, yeah, well, not just that, but it's not cold enough to where the deer need to eat often. So we usually get these cold snaps, which gets the deer on their feet during the daylight. Our food plot, I checked our camera the other day, is still seeing a lot of activity, but it's all at night.
Nighttime.
Because it's just not cold enough to force the deer onto their feet. But you know what, Todd? You never know when one's going to walk by you and you're going to kill it. So with that being said, let's get into the hunts. The first one we've got this week is Troy Spolum. Speaking of cold weather, hunting over beans, that's what Troy's doing. So let's check in with
that was almost a month and a half ago.
I know. Late season hunting in November. Check it out.
Sunday, November 16th. Finally set up. It's just after 2 o'clock. Last opportunity, last afternoon to get after these bucks before the Orange Army does next weekend. It's gun season here in Illinois. So I am hunting over a bean field. We had 1.5 inches of snow, so I'm hoping they're going to come out early this afternoon and hit the beans. I just saw a buck we call Paddlehead come from the west. He walked across the bean field up on the ridge. He's a 3.5, 4.5-year-old. We're not quite sure, but he has potential, so we're going to pass on him even if he came in. But good to see a fairly mature buck on his feet already. We're hoping they come kind of from all directions. There's a lot of bedding area around that can work into this bean field here. Come on early and see if we can't put a big buck down this afternoon. Who knows? We'll see. Cross our fingers. Yo-yo. Burp. And back. Hit him high and back. Shoot. I just shot the one buck I'm looking for. It's that was the elk, but I don't think I made a good shot. Oh shoot. Oh, I can't believe it. A little far, a little back. Oh, shoot. Oh, man. I gotta review the footage. Please, please, please. Oh my God. I'm gonna get out, go try and find the arrow. I mean, I know he went booking. I'll be able to walk 100 yards. Or not quite. 80 yards into the beans. See if I could pick up any blood before he would ever know, because the wind's coming from that direction. So I won't spook him. But I gotta go get down and see if I can find something. God, I'm shaking crazy. It's so cold. I'm gonna go over the point of impact and see if I can't find any blood here. God, I hope so. Walked right by the stealth cam. Still don't see an arrow, but pretty sure this is his path. I'm gonna try and stay off of it. Trying to figure out if I'm just my colorblind. I can't tell if it's blood or mud. So I'm hoping and praying the kill zone did its job, and I'm gonna go find this buck. God, that's the one buck I wanted this year. Oh, please turn this into a great evening. Come on, let's go look for more blood here. Pretty decent red blood. A lot of blood right there. Blood up on these beans. I'm gonna go back. Give them some time. Hopefully go and recover my buck. Kill zone caused a lot of blood off the bat, so hoping that's enough. Just got done reviewing the footage and tying back, but God, it's just so close. It's like inches from the backside of the lungs. We're gonna go out and I'm gonna get Dad better eyes, one that's not colorblind, and we're gonna go check for blood and see if we can't find the arrow, because it just, I mean, the arrow disappears, so the arrow's got to be somewhere up there. But I did find the arrow. I don't know what I was looking at earlier, but it went straight through and stuck in the ground. It's got blood all the way through, so we're gonna follow. I'm gonna show my dad the blood trail, and we're gonna track it for a little bit, all the way to the top of the hill again, retrace the steps. Killzone did a pretty good job, opened them up, but just a marginal shot. So let's see if we can go, if we want to continue pursuing based on the blood we see. There's some right there. Right here, man, looks like he smashed into it. Blood. There he is. Oh my God, there he is. Yes! There he is. Oh, little baby. Oh my gosh, why is it the deer I shoot smash into trees? This is the elk. Yes. Yes. There he is. Oh my God. Oh. There he is, folks. Well, we're gonna get him tagged up and drug out of here, but this is at least a 5.5-year-old buck. We've got pictures of him all the way back to 2009. And this is the one I wanted to go after. He's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 point. Oh man, I can't believe it. That was just, that shot was really high.
but the kill zone did its job. Yeah, baby. All right, Sunday, November 16th, and I've got my second Illinois buck on the ground. This one is at least a 5.5-year-old buck we call the elk. We've had pictures, the neighbor does, before we even had this property back in 2009. This afternoon, you know, it was just the last afternoon that I was gonna be able to hunt before the Orange Army comes out next weekend. But I just by chance picked the stand we call the Hickory Oak. It's over some beans. You know, sitting there the afternoon, it was cold, it was windy, but I had some does come out and they were acting really funny. I kept looking back, saw nothing. Then a little buck started working into the field, into the beans, and I was watching him turn the camera on him, and out of the corner of my eye, I caught this guy coming in, and he actually walked right in front of the stealth cam at 20 yards. I just couldn't get a shot off. So I was able to figure out where he was gonna go. I knew it was marked, or I had ranged it was 30 yards, had the HHA dialed in. He walked right in the shooting lane. I stopped him and sent the kill zone flying his way, but the shot was high and back. This is actually the exit wound right here. But fortunately, the kill zone did its job. So everything came together. You know, he only ran about 150 yards, a great blood trail. It was spraying everywhere, all over in the snow. Just an awesome experience. I'm so happy. Already be done this year. This is my first double buck year. But got another big one on the ground called the elk. This is the one I wanted. What a great season. Bow hunt or die.
Well, I think this is one of the very rare cases, Todd, where the hunter thinks he made a bad shot and actually turns out to be a pretty good shot. I mean, as we saw, good blood trail. He ended up double lunging that deer.
Yeah.
It looked a little high and a little far back, but he did catch the back of both lungs, and as we saw, that deer didn't go very far at all.
Well, yeah, and I have to admit, Justin, when we were sitting there watching the footage, and I saw that buck go bolting out of the field, I mean, that deer looked like he was going 100 miles an hour. I had my doubts, but of course, you know what? The blood trail doesn't lie. That's for sure. Perfect pass through. A great hunt. I mean, you know, Troy always has that just incredible. He is pumped, man. I mean, I love watching his
bottled
hunts.
up enthusiasm. You know, Todd's always talking about how Troy's kind of a business guy when we have some of our pro staff meetings. You know, and then he kind of lets some of those emotions out when he does get into the field, which is refreshing
That
to
he
see.
does.
And you know, and the other thing to note, Todd, just real quickly, is that's a deer that they had a lot of history with. A lot of trail camera photos of, and as you could tell, I mean, it wasn't a huge rack on that deer. A lot of guys are going to look at that deer and say he's young, but the fact of the matter is, not every deer has the genetics to grow a Boone and Crockett rack, even in Illinois, that people consider one of the better trophy states out there. So congratulations to Troy. Definitely a mature trophy, and I think he said the first year he's harvested 2 bucks with his bow in 1 year.
Congratulations. That's always fun to do for sure.
So what's up next?
Well, next up we're going to join Josh Sturgill. It's always fun to watch Josh's hunts because, of course, he hunts in a completely different area, different terrain, more mountain style hunting. So it's always fun to see different types of hunts.
I don't think there's a cornfield or a soybean field anywhere near where Josh is hunting out in West Virginia. So it's definitely a little bit different scenery than you're used to on our show. So let's take a look at that now.
Thursday, September 20th. We actually took off work for tomorrow, and the next day we're headed up to Logan County, West Virginia. It's been a rough year so far. We've not had a ton of time to hunt, and what little bit we have, the weather either hasn't cooperated or we've had other stuff going on. So we're glad to finally be able to go, take the next few days off, and all next week, which is Thanksgiving week. So we're going to be here in these Bowhunt counties and trying to get a good buck. It's been cold the last several weeks. The weather's supposed to warm up for a couple of days and then drop back down, so we're going to see how that affects everything. But we're very excited just to be here, and hopefully we'll have a good hunt, bow hunt or not.
Woke up this morning and it was 21 degrees, and it was a little cold this morning, but I bumped up. I got all my scent blocker gear on and wool and all that good stuff, so we're ready to go. So we're just going to get up in the stand and see what happens, try to stay warm, keep warm, positive thoughts going on. Hopefully we'll see some big bucks. Bow hunt or not. I tell you, that'll warm you up. My phone says 23 degrees this morning, but when you got a buck like that comes in on you, it'll definitely warm you up. Had a great morning this morning. He came in from behind us, trailing the doe, just kind of shadowing the doe. She was down below him about 30, 40 yards. She came up, and then he followed her around the road and came up on this flat. He got out there, spooked a little bit, ran out. I didn't have much time to do really good camera work, but I did the best I could and was able to put a good shot on him. So I think he ran over the hill about 60 yards. It's going to be a long drag to get him out, but it's all going to be worth it. So I had a great morning this morning. I just praise God for that deer, and bow hunter died. Well, we waited about 3 hours on that buck. After I started looking at the film, it looked like the shot was a little bit further back than I wanted it. But it looks like we've got some good blood through here, so we're going to go ahead and get started tracking. He went over the hill. I heard him crash way down in the bottom, but it's a pretty long way down through there. So we're just going to ease down through here and follow the blood and see what we can find. This is actually where the blood starts. It looks like it's a pretty good blood trail. He's bleeding pretty good through here. Here's some more blood that we found. You can kind of see we were shooting those NAP kill zones. And then the Maxima Reds, 350s, and you can kind of see how he's just painted this tree on the way down here. That's 3 separate trees where he came down over the hill after the initial shot, where he was just bleeding profusely out there through those trees. Well, we've come down about 75 yards. We're still getting great blood. We actually found our arrow here. I haven't touched it yet. You see, it's been so cold, some of that blood's still frozen on it. Looks like a pretty good hit. It's a little bit darker blood. I think I got a little bit of his stomach the way that it was angled, but it's still bleeding great. You can see the blood trail all the way down through here, all the way down this hill. So we're gonna keep going. You can kind of see right here where he's come in. He's laid down in here and bled all over the place. Blood came steady all the way down the mountain. So he's kind of stopped. So we're gonna ease up. He should be close here. I don't see how he's got much more blood left in him. We're gonna ease up here and find him. There he is. I see him. Yeah. He's right down here.
Well, this deer fell about 75 yards from where we shot him up on top of the mountain. The only thing is he came straight down the mountain. So we've got, he did hit a logging road and ran about 25 yards off of it. So we've got a long drag to get him out of here. But he's just a magnificent mountain buck. I mean, he is scored up. He's got the spot on the back of his head where he took an antler in there and it looks like it's infected. He's got a scar on the back of his leg where somebody shot him with a bow years ago. He's gray-faced. He's got splits in his ears. I mean, he is just, you can tell this buck has fought his entire life. And just a buck I'm very, very proud of to be able to hang on my wall. And it's just been a great day. Praise God. So we're going to drag him out of here. We may be done 2 or 3 hours. We'll do the best we can. Bow hunter died.
You know, Justin, I think this is what most people want their hunts to turn out to be. You know, I mean, he looks like he's got a great spot. I mean, the deer cooperate, coming a couple times there. I didn't think he was even going to be able to pull the hunt off. I thought that deer was going to take off.
Yeah. I mean, and when you're self-filming in this case, I mean, it's hard to get that camera moved around when those deer are really moving. Obviously, we could tell, guys, it was the rut. You know, that buck was in there pushing that doe around, and, you know, ultimately Josh did a good job, captured it all on film, made a good shot, you know, recovered his animal. And Todd, I will say this, I am thankful at times for living in the Midwest where we don't have to drag our deer 2 or 3 hours to get them out of the woods, because that seems like a lot of work to me.
You know, sometimes you think, you know, you want to be all tough and
hardcore
and all that. You know what? When you start dragging deer and you've got a bad back, and you know
like
what?
The ones where you can just drive the truck through the field when they die in the field and just throw them in the back. But, you know, congrats to Josh. This is his 2nd year on the Prostaff now, and that's his 2nd buck that he's managed to harvest on film. So he's definitely doing better than I am.
And, you know, Justin, for the record, you know, he talks about how difficult it's going to be to get this deer out. But you know what?
They never showed it to us.
We did not see any footage. So personally, I think that deer ran down. There was a highway. They pulled up and they got
ATV got him out of
That's
there.
what I'm thinking.
Kinda
So
makes sense.
for all the viewers out there, go to the forum and let's give Josh a hard time about this, because personally, I think
Josh kind of got a hard time last year after his shooting of his animal. So maybe we want to lay off on Josh.
All right,
we want him to come back next year as part of our pro staff. So congrats to Josh. Another great hunt from him. So Todd, that's all the hunting action we've got for this week. Of course, as always, we want to take a second to thank some of the people who sent in their trophies for this week's show. Adam Urbano,
Chris James.
Colt Stacy.
Corey Finch.
And Rudy Jones. Hey, congratulations, everybody. Those are some great trophies. Remember, if you want to see yourself right here in an episode of Bowhunt or Die, all you've got to do is email your photos to info@bowhunting.com. As always, send us the best photos that you've got and the biggest photos. Some of you guys send these little tiny cell phone ones that I could barely see. Unfortunately, we can't use those because they're not big enough. So send us the best photos you got, and you PayPal a couple bucks to graph here.
Here we go.
Maybe slip you in the next episode.
You don't have to send us any money. We got a couple more episodes left, and hopefully you'll see yourself right here on another episode.
So that's all the action we've got for this week, guys. We want to let you know that next week there will not be an episode of Bowhunt or Die. We're actually going to be down in Indianapolis at the ATA show. So Todd, as always, we want to tell everybody, make sure you check the forum, the website homepage, Facebook, Twitter, all of our social media accounts. We're going to be updating live from the show to bring you guys exclusive footage and exclusive look at all the new products that are going to be hitting the market for 2015.
Yeah, definitely, Justin. We've got a big team there. We're all dialed up, ready. Better than ever. We are ready to report to you on all the new gear. I'm excited. You just never know what you're going to see when you go to the show. So
there's usually some cool stuff, and then there's some stuff that maybe makes you scratch your head and think, why? But we're going to have all of it on bowhunting.com. So guys, make sure you check next week, and we'll see you in 2 weeks here on Bowhunt or Die. We do have a couple more great hunts for you, so we'll see you then.
In the meantime, don't forget to check out facebook.com/bowhunting for daily updates, news, photos, and other exciting information. We want to hear your opinions and your stories, so join us now and like us on Facebook.
Action. Well, Justin, I don't know what there is to say about this hunt, to be frank with you. It looks like he just kind of went out and hunted and got a deer. Those three do this hunt.
I was going to say, where are you going with this? I don't know what to say about this.
It's like, don't forget the ATA.